Jamie back with Inky and Scrappy with our Let's Start Stamping series this week. I do believe we are going to do, it's called a sidestep card. I have my sample already kind of ready here, and we'll work with it. But this one will have, I will try to remember to pop a picture of this onto my blog if you are interested. It'll definitely be at the end of the video in a still, so you can grab a screenshot if you would like. But I'll also put the measurements and the fold lines, like the cut lines and the fold lines, into the description box down below. So if you are interested, I'll try to list the stuff that I use. There's no promises, because let's be honest, I don't always remember what I all used. I am planning on using the new Build a Beehive or Build a Bee set from Fawn. I'll bring in the old High Five set and maybe the Gleeful Gardens. I just like the really big flower in this one, and so I might bring that one in. And then of course this one has the little bees that are a possibility if I don't use the big bee, and the smaller flower, maybe the honey pot. We've got a couple of different steps there. I'm gonna bring in some Rainbow Ever After, the petite paper pack, and then of course this one I just feel is very beehive-ish colored, and so I'm gonna bring that one in as well. I think we'll do this one as kind of our sky color, and then if I want some, is there a green in here? I haven't decided what I'm doing for all of my things, to be honest. I'll bring in a green. I was looking for a little piece. I do have some little pieces, so I'll bring in the scratch pieces of green. Maybe those will fit there. They're pretty close, so I can probably wiggle those into one of those ones. So let's start with a card base. A good person, a good creator would have had that ready for you and ready to go. Well, you know, this is me. You get what you get. So I have my A2 size card base. It's already scored at the 4 1/4 because I scored all of my card bases at that. Now this one I probably need to measure and make sure we're at 4. This one's a little over 5 1/2, so I'm going to cut this down before we get too far. Otherwise I'll have issues later. So the first cut we're going to do on this one is going to be 1 3/4 of an inch in. And so that's what's going to give us this. This is the 1 3/4 of an inch. This is going to work way better with a slide style cutter. It's not going to work on a guillotine cutter. You would have to do like a ruler with, I have the little, this one's got like a little point on, like a needle, I don't know, it's got a cutter point on it, or like a X-Acto style knife would work. And then I would just suggest using your ruler and kind of doing it that way. So mine says I need to cut from 1 inch all the way up to 6 3/8. You can adjust those if you want. I would suggest doing it this way the first time and then playing with those after a while is fine. So I'm at my 1 inch. I'm going to poke it in my 6 1/8, 2/8, 3/8 is right there. So this one is nice because it'll go 1 2 3. It shows you the arrow as to where it is, the blade is currently cutting. I have some other ones that don't do that. It's just a little bit trickier to figure out where your cut line is, but ultimately we have that one. We're gonna flip it. I guess I'm doing it, I guess, this way. Okay, my folds backwards. That's fine. So that's all I need the slide ruler for, or the cutter at this point for. I'm gonna bring in my scoreboard. You're welcome to use, that one has a blade that pops out and then it becomes a scoring blade. I'm just, can I say lazy? And I don't like to pop it out. So I even have it sitting right on my desk at the moment, but I'm lazy. This is just to me it's easier. So for this one, because you're looking at going down and I have to stay in the groove and I can't see where the groove is, I like to flip it and do it this way. So I'm just working right next to the number. It takes the guessing out to make sure that I'm on the right line. So this one, we're going to score it at 1 inch, just to where that cut mark is. And I see that my cut mark isn't exactly straight, so I'm going to have to, or far enough, so I'll just go in with the scissors and fix that one later. And then the 2, again, it's just that cut line. And then this one is 2 or 3 1/8. And then of course we have that 4 1/4. And I'll just reinforce that score line all the way across. And then the last score line is going to be that 6 3/8. Just to that cut line again, or to the end of that cut line. And so you'll have, it should look like this when you're done. Granted, it's backwards on here, but it's not a huge deal. I like to work those back and forth anyways. It kind of gives you a better valley and or mountain. So for the first one here, we're going to go mountain. And mountain just means we're making a peak with it. The second one here, this one is going to go obviously to mountain, but the other one is going to go down to a fold, and then the next one is going to be a mountain, and then a valley, and then a mountain again. So you ultimately end up with, you know, a big mountain and some little foothills. Well, a really big mountain, a medium mountain, and 2 little foothills. Okay. Ultimately, it'll fold flat this way, and so it does add a little bit of bulk on here. So when you're mailing it, keep that in mind. It is probably going to need, I would put a plain piece of cardstock over the top of it. It just tends to protect it, and it mails better. It's what I do. It's totally up to you, but seeing I have things sitting here. So on my original one, it says like a 2.5 by 2.5 square would fit here. So if you want to do a sentiment here, it would work. The little jar from Lawn Fawn would fit really well there as well. So don't feel like you have to do a sentiment on a block there. That's why I thought it would be fun to pull in the bigger one here. And I don't know if this one's, it's probably a little over, well, it's probably about 2.5 tall. So I think it'll work well. I think we can put maybe some grass in there or something. We'll see. But ultimately for this one, trying to find, you can definitely do a, well, let's do this one as, we'll do it this way, but we could always add grass down here. So that's why I don't really want to do, I don't want to do the full thing there. So I think I'm just going to do my strip here as 1 3/4. Let me grab, I'm going to grab this one just because it's smaller. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Do I want to cut it 4.5 by 5 or 4 1/4 by 5.5 first? I mean, it would give me all the right measurements. So I'm going to do it this way first. Okay. So this way I can go, this one I need to be at 1 3/4. I'm not going to leave a border on this. I kind of want to make it exactly so they'll cover those little strips up. We'll have to cheat a little bit on our folds because those fold lines kind of make a little bit more happen, right? So this one will cover that whole thing there. So if you want to do a mat for that one, you could definitely drop it down 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch on both measurements. Now for this one, I think we're going to do green on that front piece. This one should be almost 4 inches. I can't measure today. Okay, 1. So 3 3/4 is going to be our width on this one. That's what we should have. We should have left here is that 3 3/4. And then this one is 1 inch. This one is 1 inch. This one is an inch. Well, this is an inch and an eighth and an inch and an eighth. So 1 inch, 1 inch, and then an inch and an eighth and an inch and an eighth. So depending upon, and then this one should be a little over 2. So like 2 1/8. So I'm thinking if I cut this one to 2 inches first, because I want to get that top one done. Did I say 2? It feels like it's bigger than 2, a little bit over 2. So we'll go 2. I'm going to do 2 because it's going to end up being a cut there anyways. So we'll go 2. Oh, look, I flipped it and then I'm not going to be right anyways. I'm a genius. Shh. Okay. Make sure your paper's the right direction if you're, you know, not trying to waste paper. Okay. So this one will go here. We have this one for here. Let me grab. Just to help us visualize. So I'm just going to come in with, I just want to put a little dot on there so it's going to hold it so we can kind of see where we're at. This is my first time making one of these. Bear with me. I say that with all the love in my heart. I'm a hot mess normally, and then, you know, we just add in new card folds and trying to figure them out on camera. Okay, so we have this one and that one, and then this one I want green for sure. This one can definitely still be blue, or we could do it green and we could just do blue on the back ones. I think we're gonna do blue on the back ones and we'll do green on the front. Does that make sense? Because I'm thinking it would look like it's by the grass. So I will cut this one. Do we have 2 inches left for this one? No. Does this one got? This one doesn't either. Okay. 3 3/4 by a little under 1. And if they're close, they're going to be close, so let's see. Whoop. Flop that one back down. So I don't care if there's a little bit of white space on that one. This one will go here, and then this one is going to be a little bit wider. So let's measure that one. We'll start at the inch. So like 1 inch and 1/8 for this one. Let's go to 1 inch and 1/8. 3 3/4. Oh, I can go a little bit smaller. 2 2 Okay. And then we'll do green on those other 2. So let's see if I have, if these ones are long enough, we'll just, but I kind of want to do all the way across from the bottom. Okay, so this one, or this one will work here. 3 3/4. And let me find a green one. Do I want a grass edge to it? Oh, decisions. Whoops, wrong one. So if I do a grassy edge to it, let's cut this one a little bit bigger. So I'm going to cut it at 1 1/2 inches. I only need 1 inch for surezies on this one. And then this way it's going to be 5 1/2. And then I'm going to bring in a grassy border die, I think. Let's see where my other one is here. The other one's really big. So I think I'm going to use, well, okay, I have multiple options. I have this one. I have this one, which is a little bit, I want a straight line. I don't want a wavy, grassy border. I have both. I have this huge one, which is not going to work. This one I think is MFT. And this one might be a lawn fawn one. So I would go with either this one or this one. I'm probably going to go with kind of the middle, the smaller end one there. So we can always cut more off of the bottom, right? Let's see, which way is the grass supposed to go on this one? Okay, so I am just going to go, figure this way. If I put it at 4 and I go a little above 3, I'd rather have to cut more off the bottom than not have enough on the top. So I'm gonna tape this one down and then we're gonna run that through the die cut machine and I'll be right back. Okay, so we run it through the die cut machine. We've got our nice little grassy. And I think we're good. I don't think we need to, it hangs over a little bit, but I like that it hangs over. I think it'll be fun to tuck some things in there. Do I want to distress it? No, I want to keep it plain. I don't want to say plain, but a little bit more on the simple side. I am going to glue these ones down before I get too far here. Sentiment wise, you can definitely do a sentiment, and we should probably figure out our sentiment before I glue everything down. I'm not worried about these because obviously the sentiment's not going to be on any of them. And I'm going to make sure that I don't overlap this piece here. I'd rather have to trim off a little bit from that side than have it hit when I'm, you know, trying to make everything else work later on. This one, I want this one all the way up to the fold. This one again, you could definitely do cut with that grass dye border and put that above the line. I guess I could have done that, but, and I do have a little bit more white there than I want, but it's okay. I don't think we're going to see it, you know, for the most part when the card's done. You're not gonna notice those parts. Okay. This one here. And these, you wouldn't have to put them on. You could definitely just leave them white. I've been going through paper scraps, and so I've learned maybe I should just use some of those instead of trying to save all the little pieces. Yeah. If you are also a hoarder of all the things paper, you understand where I'm coming from. This one. And this one too, you could definitely have like a cloud border on here. You could have had it higher up than your piece here. So don't think that you can't. Like I said, this is my first one and we're trying to keep it a little bit on the simpler side of life. And over the top here. Gluing's hard, y'all, obviously. If I'd have made the grass on this one taller, you'd have never noticed. Okay. And then that one's going to tuck in there. Let me grab. Oh, look. I cleaned and can't find anything. I used to have a magnet board on the wall right next to my desk. And I decided I didn't need it there, but I don't know where I put the magnets that were on it. They're probably behind me, to be honest. Good question. Dear Jamie, where did you go with all of the things? I put them in safe spots. We know how that works. Well, I can grab one. So, it's not the one I want though, because the other ones are stronger. Anyways, Okay, so we have our card base here. We will add this one on there, and I might come back and do a little grassy upper piece there. I mean, I don't think we're going to see it, so I don't think it really matters. Because once it stands up, you'll see a little bit, but you won't see a lot of it. And this one, all of these folds kind of sit on the ground. They wouldn't have to, okay? So being this is my first one that I've done this way, I followed the directions that I found. There was multiple ones online, but this one looked like the easiest one. I also know that they do make dies for these. I don't have this particular one. So if you're looking for that, it's an option. I wouldn't know where to tell you to go because I have no clue. So I'm sure somebody else out there that might be watching might know what company carries them. I would say, what is it? The Fun Stamper's Journey, is that what it's called? They tend to have a lot of interactive dies. They would maybe have one. I don't know who else out there would have one. Maybe Brass and Blitz, possibly, or Karen is it Bernstein? I don't remember, from Riley & Co. She does a lot of different interactive ones as well. Okay, so this one, I should really throw these on magnets. Alright, be back. So I have the dies for this one. I don't have the dies for this one, but I want one of those big flowers. I think I don't necessarily need to but I kind of want one big flower, so I'll just hand cut that one in for a penny, in for a pound, I guess. Oh, I don't know what we had on there, but we're not overly black today, I see. Okay. And I'm just going to hand stamp these because I want a bunch of little tiny bees. And they're pretty easy to just stamp and go. So, I don't know. I want the queen bee. I want some of the little bumblebees. I don't know if I want the ones that are kind of like the softer black today with the lighter card. It'll be much more channeling my inner goddaughter color wise today, I guess. I'm gonna do a couple of the flowers. Not me trying to sneak everything possible that I can sneak in on here, huh? I'll do an extra one. I don't know if I'm going to need it. Okay. I don't have colors pulled for today. Let's see here. We will do Y28 and 29 for the bee bodies. So the bees are pretty easy. I usually just go along the outside here with the darker, come in with the lighter. Not too difficult. And you could definitely do a darker ink. This one is definitely not very black today. I like that the Lisa Horton one usually dries really fast. As you can see, I'm coloring with yellow right after I stamped it, and we're not having any issues. But my thing is, it's not, if I re-ink it again, it'll probably be okay. But it's not been overly black first time. Usually second impression. It's usually a 2 impression. So if you're just stamping with a block, it's not as dark. Just something I've noticed, and I've already re-inked mine once, and I don't think I use it that much, but maybe I do. And another bee. And another bee. I have been seeing little bees out in the garden. So I made the mistake, and I say this with all the love and respect in the world. I made the mistake of adding morning glories to our one, like, I don't know what you would call it, like flower bed, I guess. That was by all of the power stuff, like, I don't know, 7 years ago. Maybe it hasn't been that long. It feels like it's been that long. I want to go with a little bit a brown tone that's going to make it look like, we're going to do that E47. E47 for the crown. It'll kind of make it look gold against that yellow. Do I need brown for anything else? I don't think so. But so I made the mistake of adding morning glories like 7 years ago. My great grandma had morning glories, and I absolutely loved the climbing vines. I love them. My husband did not. You can't have vines climbing on your electric stuff. I'm like, okay, so then I have to go and like, I should have invested in a, you know, like a big wieldy machete type thingy to like cut the vines down. I did not. I just, you know, went with it. And so I'd pull them off, and so I'm still pulling them off. I didn't realize they replanted themselves so well. So well. Like, horribly well. We're going to go BG 212 for this one. Anyways, they've now migrated into my other flower bed, which is, you know, closer to the house. It's fine. And I laugh because, you know, I'd send my sister pictures and I'm like, yep, just chaos, because it literally looks like little purple flowers like cover the entire front. You know, I have hostas in there. I think they're called clematis. I don't remember what they're called. They remind me of the sexually transmitted disease, and that's why I won't say it, because I can't say it properly. Big beautiful, I think they're called cotton candy ones. And so those come earlier in the year, and they're beautiful. And then, of course, the morning glories, the purple morning glories just take over, and everything is cut. Like, the whole flower bed is just covered in morning glories, which is gorgeous, but it looks like a hot, chaotic mess of just green, viney things everywhere that they're not supposed to be. And I just gave up, and I said, when chaos is beautiful. And my sister said, yes. Exactly. She's like, there's beauty in chaos. I'm like, I guess, when it comes to flowers. Only because I'm too lazy to like sit there and weed them out. I tried this year in the center, and I did okay. They're still there, but they're not as bad as they have been in the past. But they've now migrated. Like, I keep trying to like push them, like, in the fall I take everything out and I will throw them in the woods, hoping that they will like overtake the woods, because that's where I would really love them. They won't. They're like, oh, we know you want us here, so we're not gonna bloom. We're not gonna bloom where you planted us. So yeah, I just struggle with them everywhere else. It's all good. I think I saw some in my one raised garden bed, which is supposed to be for vegetables, but it's got some morning glories blooming in it. It's wonderful. Purple flowers everywhere. I want a red or a pink. I need something to pop. I was thinking that one, but I'm thinking R38 might be better. Maybe. I like R, just because it's more pastel-y or soft. Is there another option? I'm trying to stick with my 60 and skin tones. So I think we're going to go with that R38. 38. It colors really bright pink when you lay it down, and then it dries down into this shade. Don't ask me why, it's just how it works. I'm going to start with the petals closest. I'm just doing one color blends today. So one marker, multiple layers to give you the added color blends. These ones remind me of Cabarrus, which are probably my favorite flower. Probably because they look like mini sunflowers, and you know, can get them in multiple colors. My garden has, the sunflowers are growing. I didn't plant any this year. They're whatever came back from last year. And they're absolutely gorgeous. They're like deep oranges and reds. Don't ask me what kind they are. I don't know. I bought the seed packet. It was pretty on the outside. You know, that's how I purchase my flowers. It looked pretty on the package. I have no clue other than that. I tried doing cone flowers the one year and I failed miserably. I'm trying to think what other ones that I've done. My mother-in-law got rid of a bunch. I do have, so when she got rid of flowers, she cleaned out her one bed, and so I got which ones did I get? They're really good smell. Peonies. So I have a couple of peony bushes, or I don't know if they're really bushes. Some peonies, some beautiful pink peonies, and then there's like, I want to say it's, I don't think it's honeysuckle, like these purple honeysuckle looking flowers that are a lot like, they're like a fuchsia pink though, not the same color as the morning glories. Those ones, and then I have some like grassy thing that has pink flowers on them, which those are pretty too. I think those bloom like 2 or 3 times a year. I am low key when it comes to all of the garden things. I want to do some wing color, and I don't think I have a very light one, so I'm gonna do the BV. Ooh, maybe we should do 38 is probably going to match better with my background. So I'm going to do BV 38, and we're going to do some tip to tip with a colorless blender here. So this one has the fine tip. Here we go. So I'm just going to do a 1, a 2, and then come in here. Oh, I don't need that B. I'm just gonna start close to the body on these, and then I'm gonna come out and once this leaves, you probably do like a 1 second touch, to be honest here, and then I'll just pull that. It's gonna push out the darker part there, and then it's gonna so this is kind of, I don't want to say it's backwards, but it feels like it's backwards, but laying that darker color. It's, so when I always say alcohol markers are all pretty much the same. I've played with a lot of them. But so when you did, oh, I didn't do the Mama Bee. When I did chameleon markers, that's how they did their color changes, was with the tip to tip method. So it's, I learned the tip to tip method with them. It's a learning curve with any marker, but that one probably gave me the most confidence when it came to blending colors together on the actual marker. Like I would blend purples and blues on the marker, and I got better at it. It works. You know, when you're not worried about the marker being, you know, an issue, because ultimately I learned that as long as you keep coloring, that color is going to clean itself out of the marker, and it works well. Okay, So I'm going to line these up and die cut those. I'm also going to bring in my honeycomb or beehive die and cut those out. So I will do that off camera just because it takes me forever to line up things and run it through and, you know, crank. All the pieces are die cut. I am going to stamp my sentiment on my base piece before I get too far along here. So this one we have options. We can go all the way across. We can go like center. And I think I'm going to go center. You could do one side or the other if you wanted to. I think I'm going to do center. Don't worry, I will probably regret my decision as soon as I do it. That's how I roll. I think we're good there. Maybe. You know how when you get it all lined up and then your finger touches it and you're back to square? It didn't work. Yep, I'm there today. Okay. Try it again. Maybe. So, 1, 2, 3. One has 7 and one has 8, so I'm going to scooch it this way just a little bit. Hoping for center, baby. Okay. I think we're lined up pretty straight there. It's probably a little off, but so am I. It's all good. Okay, for this one, I'm going to come in with the VersaFine Onyx Black. It's going to give me that nice crisp, bold sentiment. Usually it is a one and done. Brown would have probably been okay with this one as well. Happy bee day to the queen bee. I guess I could have done the little bee with the birthday hat. I wasn't planning on doing a birthday card, but here we are. Okay. So for this one, I cut out this one. I think we're good there. Set that off to the side. For this one, I used the back side. This is like from a Unity Stamps thing. I cut mine down and throw them in folders, and then I save. And I thought about die cutting this side, but I want it to be cool. Like, I don't want that on the back. So being that I just really needed the little hole in the front, I'm doing it this way. So you're not going to see any of that. I'm just reusing because, again, I, you know, tend to reuse all the things. But I wanted a darker brown, and so I'm just going to come in there with some ink and add that there. And then for the beehive, I'm just going to add a little bit of that brown onto the outside just so it gives it a little bit more shape. I don't know if I need to do the inside, but I'll do just a little light. I didn't re-ink it at all. I just used whatever was on the brush. So that should give us a nice brown inside to the beehive. You could definitely go a darker yellow tone or orange tone, or any of those would work. So I'm going to glue this one onto there. Oh look, my beehive is all made. I think we're going to put the queen bee inside the beehive, or right by the beehive. And we can add, I have gold somewhere here. This one might be a little overzealous. We're going to try it. If I ruin it, I have another one almost colored that we can add to it. This is just Winkastella in gold, and it's murdered. Okay, how shall I say this? It's exploded on me more than once, to be fair. Okay, so I think we're going to add this one here. Now, if you see how that looks there, so we're just going to have glue kind of on that bottom ring there, and that's why this one, because it's nice and thick, I think that's going to help hold that on there. I wouldn't go with a very light piece of paper on this one, just because I want it to have a little bit of bulk so it stays up and it doesn't get bent or fold. Alright, those ones go over there. So that one. We can add our, this one here. So we could definitely have come in and added a little bit of green on there as well. And we can definitely do that before we're done here if we want. I suppose I could add a stick to the top of that one and it wouldn't. Wow, I got glue everywhere. Oh yeah, I was supposed to pay attention and not put glue above the line. Dooby-dooby-doo. Pay attention, don't put glue above the line. Okay, I'm glad we had this TED Talk. I only have like this little section here, so I don't think I actually got any above there, so we're good. And I don't want this glued down solid because I want to be able to tuck some flowers in there yet. Let's grab let's see, I just kind of want it to stay semi down so we can kind of see what we're working with here. But we can do, is that my biggest one? That is my biggest one. Okay, so I'm going to do my big flower over here. And then we can tuck these ones in onto this piece. I'm just putting glue on the part that is going to touch the paper there. We can add some layers in here. And I'll go with this one over here. Oh, decisions. I kind of like that one there. Okay. Okay. Now for the little bees, we can definitely just adhere them onto the panel. Up here, over here. And this can hang off that one a little bit. You're not gonna hinder anything. You could have definitely put like a little branch like that came across to kind of hold up. If you're using the little beehive, that would have been cute. But I want to add in some acetate picks again. We used them last week if you watched last week's. I will use them again. They just add so much dimension, I think, to... I think there's another one that's got both ends here. Again, with my acetate, I use transparency sheets. You can get them on Amazon. You know, I buy mine in super bulk because it's cheaper in the long run, but definitely just buy, you know, you can get I think a 10 pack or whatever, and it's not horribly expensive, and they last depending upon how many shaker cards you use. I usually use the scraps for my acetate picks a lot of times. So because we're doing that acetate pick on this one, we can kind of tuck this one in, and we can definitely do it in between the layers if you want. You can do it behind here. You can do it behind your flower. Kind of decisions on your part, and definitely can go up further. I'm gonna peel this one. I kind of want to tuck it in there so I can get let's see, where are we? Oh, we're going to be at the same spot height-wise. Okay, we need to trim him down a little bit. So if I go here, I can just just add a little bit of glue there. And he will tuck in place. He's still kind of tall, isn't he? I should either have him up higher or down lower. Okay, well, we're going to trim him again. I am content with his placement, and then we have one more little one left. I think we're going to do him way up over here on the side. Doobie-doobie-doo. Do I want him all the way in the front one? I took him here. So we're going to add him on with some double-sided score style tape, and then of course a little bit of glue because I like both. And so for him, I can, because my pick is extra long, you see how, I don't know if you can see how long it is, but it's like all the way up there, so you can kind of adjust. And I'm not gonna fully adhere them yet. So I can have them here, I can have them turned this way. You know, he can go anywhere along there, and we can just cut off whatever is going to be over the top. I'm just going to add a little dot of glue there. And I think we'll go kind of here with him. And then I can just snip off the overhang up ahead or up above. And then he's got, I think it needs glitter. Obviously, B-wings are going to need some glitter. But ultimately, we're done with the front of our card. I had to find something. I said I moved stuff. I did move stuff. Okay, I think we want to do, so the inside of this one, obviously, is going to be, yeah, kind of a little bit different wise. You could also, I suppose you could adhere this to a card front, but then you kind of lose that fun fold aspect of it. So I'm just going to add, we're going to fold it this way. Unfold, maybe. Don't get caught. Behave. Whoop, whoop. So if you want to add a sentiment on the inside, you definitely can. Maybe something over onto the side. I'm gonna flip it so I can get my sentiment in here. Let's see. I don't know if I need anything else besides, I'm gonna do a pink flower and some smoothie ink because I think that'll match pretty good. My stamp is probably not very clean, so we'll clean it a little bit. We'll add a little pink flower over here. I can write my sentiment in there. We can do, maybe we'll do the queen bee on the other side. We'll do her in some yellow, maybe. I'll throw her on some yellow ink and tuck her over here. And my sentiment's on the front. I don't think I need one on the inside, aside from, you know, just my handwritten one. But you could definitely add, you could add it here, maybe. I mean, it's not going to be, but ultimately, you know, the star of the show is definitely the front on this one. Goes to the side. Are we going to hold? Probably not. I was trying to get it so it'll stay kind of flat for you to see, but obviously it's not happening today. So I like to add just a little bit of glitter. Ooh, that's a lot. I like to add a lot of glitter. Just a little bit of glitter. I'm going to keep picking up from that one wing because I got a bunch there. Just adding some glitter to the bee wings. Just makes them shiny, cute. And I think we're good. So ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one is called the Sidestep card. Again, I will have my cut sheet up on the end here, and then I will try to remember to post pictures of this one onto my Instagram for sure, but also my InkyandScrappy.com page. So with the video that goes with this one. So anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Keep getting inky. Bye. I made a mess again.